Ladies and gentlemen, take a look at the screen right there. Just that picture alone tells this entire story. But it's very tragic, but I want to make sure and caution you guys before I give you the details that some of you guys might find my content controversial or offensive, but I'm getting my information from reliable sources like it says there. My point is to try to give my opinion about the facts of the story to make sure that this doesn't happen again. As a cautionary tale, viewer discretion is advised. That's your official disclaimer if you feel the need to have some thin skin around here. No, it's not Spalding, it's Paulding. A woman is accused of murder after a fire and allegedly stabbing. Deputies said that they found 7 juveniles at a home in Paulding, which is spelled Paulding County, Georgia. That's what it says in the article. I'm getting this from lawandcrime.com, so I think they got it right, but if they got it wrong, but that's where I'm getting the article from. Thank you for the article. And this happened on Friday night. Of the five got hurt, 2 were dead at the scene out of 7 children. They were a 3-year-old and a 9-month-old, officials said. Then a third child, a 5-year-old, died at a hospital. Authorities later announced that a 4th child had passed away, but they walked that back after saying that they had a miscommunication with the hospital staff, so that was slightly inaccurate. They identified the 4th child as a 9-year-old. Major correction, we were informed incorrectly. Paulding County Sheriff's Office Deputy Tyler McSwain told Law and Crime in an email. The 4th child did not pass away, thank goodness for that, but is still in critical condition. There was miscommunication with the hospital staff. Now, the mother, and that's actually a picture I was lucky to be able to find, kind of a very rough picture of the kids, but you can kind of at least see them. This so-called mother that y'all see on my screen that looked like she just don't give a damn about what y'all think about her and what she did. This mother's name is Darlene Nicole Brister. Brister, 40 years old. She looks every bit of that 40 years old. And faces 2 counts of malice murder. I'm sure y'all are wondering, why are they charging her with this? What did she do? So here we go. The deputies are also suggesting that more charges were likely to follow. Now, approximately 9:19 p.m. on June 24th, so this was only about 4 days ago, Paulding E911 received a call about a domestic disturbance and a house fire at 776 Woodwind Drive in Rockmart, Georgia, 30153. So there you go. There's the city. Deputies said in an initial news release, it was reported that a female who was inside the home attempted to stab the occupants, and that at the time of the call, the home was on fire and the occupants were inside. House on fire, and she's stabbing children. House on fire and stabbing children. Deputies and firefighters arrived, officials said. Authorities put out the fire. That leaves only 4 children alive, with 2 of them injured. The uninjured children are between the ages of 14 and 16 years old, deputies said. Besides the injured 9-year-old, the other injured child is age 11, officials said. Authorities did not detail the children's injuries at length, but said that the slain 3-year-old sustained apparent stab wounds. Stabbed to death. 2 juveniles were pronounced deceased on the scene, a 3-year-old with multiple apparent stab wounds and a 9-month-old, officials said. Several neighbors said that the family lived at the home for almost 5 years, but when they saw them often, they did not know them very well, according to WSB TV. They described hearing about ongoing domestic problems at the residence, though they said they did not think that it would get this bad. So with knowing that, it makes me wonder that they ever reported. Did they see something and didn't say anything? They just let it ride out like most people do? A neighbor said that she doesn't talk to anyone. We would see them, but we wouldn't communicate with them. Locals voiced shock and outrage at what allegedly happened. I just don't know who would do that to their kids, according to a neighbor. She had to be sick or so selfish or so self-centered that she didn't care about anything or anyone. And if you ask me, she only had these children to collect benefits off of these children. Hashtag babies for benefits. No, that she didn't love these kids. No, she didn't give a damn. And that's why she tried to end their life the way that she did. We'll talk about him here in a minute. For that woman to do this is unbelievably selfish. All she had to do was take the kids to a hospital and drop them off, and that is inaccurate information. You can't just take grown kids and drop them off at a hospital. I said grown kids, but those kids are too old to be dropped off at a hospital. There's a process for that, but you can get help, but there's a process for that. The safe haven law only really applies to newborn babies. Brister was locked up without bond, so no bond, at Paulding County Detention Center, the sheriff said. And there was an update, and deputies said 3, not 4 children are dead. A spokesman attributed the announcement about the 4th child to a miscommunication with the hospital staff. So they adjusted their article. I got a lot to say about this, but let me go ahead and give you guys the fair usage real quick. A couple of news videos. Here we go. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. And for those who are watching, if y'all could always help us out, just make sure and click that thumbs up. Super easy to do. Helps bring more people and more attention to the story so more people can hear about what really happened to these kids. So let's get it.
3 children killed in Paulding County Friday night, and their own mother is now charged with murder. Tracy M. McPeer talked to neighbors who were there when it happened.
Throughout the day, neighbors have stopped by to create this memorial for the 3 children who were killed, telling us they can't believe such a tragedy happened here.
There's bodies, a fire, and people lost their lives.
Edward Springer lives across the street from this house on Woodwind Drive in Rockmart, where the blaze broke out Friday night.
Everybody was out here. Everybody was out here. They did everything they could do. They did their best.
The sheriff's office says they got a call around 9:20 that a woman was trying to stab people inside this house while the house was on fire. They tell us 7 children lived here and 2 children died in the house. A 3rd child died later at the hospital. Neighbors also tell us some of the children jumped out of this window to escape. Police then arrested the mother, 40-year-old Darlene Brister, on the scene. And so far, she is charged with at least 2 counts of malice murder. Springer says the family lived here for years with no problems.
They stayed to themselves. The kids come outside and play. They were very, very respectful. I just don't understand them.
A deadly fire. 3 children.
Of 3 children killed, according to Paulding County deputies, at the hands of their mother, says that he forgives his wife for their deaths.
A judge denied the mother of 7 bond this morning. Fox 5's Angelique Proctor was in the courtroom for that hearing.
Ricky Brister tells me that forgiveness actually starts the healing process. He says he's already forgiven his wife for what happened, and now he encourages the public to do the same.
I'm asking other people out there not to have a lot of hate towards her.
Do you feel like you can forgive her?
She was already forgiven.
It was raw compassion from a father who is experiencing the unimaginable. Deputies have accused his wife of 17 years, Darlene Brister, of stabbing many of the couple's 7 children during a domestic dispute Friday, then setting their house on Woodwind Drive on fire.
Nobody has the right to take a life. She didn't have it, and it's not our right to take hers. You know, everybody needs help.
Instead of condemnation, Ricky Brister has focused on forgiveness and compassion for his wife. He was not at home Friday night.
This moment can be a teaching moment and a loving moment for everybody. I still love her. That's not going to change. I was called to love her. The Bible said to death do us part.
Yo. SIMP, this simp ass nigga. I'm sorry, bro. And you gonna bring the Bible into this? Look, let me tell y'all something. If we gonna bring up the Bible, then let's talk about this just a little bit. Not too much, but just a smidgen. If he said the Bible called you to love your wife, it sounds like you loved your wife more than your kids. It sounds like you put your wife first over your kids, based on what you just said. I've also heard that there's a scripture in there somewhere that said that who is protected? Babies and fools. I don't know if that's actually in there or not. I don't know. I've just heard people say it. But let's just say if that's true, then you would think that babies should be our first priority. Us working together as husband and wife to make sure and do what's best by our children. You cannot love a person that would disrespect God's blessings, since y'all tend to think that children are blessings, right? So if they're blessings, then why would you love something that would disrespect the blessings that God has bestowed upon you? Huh? Am I getting too biblical for my Bible thumpers out there? Come on, man. Let's not do this. I cannot believe he said that. And I've actually watched a number of these men who are called simps get up there and watch these women that they allegedly love and say that I forgive her anyway. I still love her. I still do. Nothing changed about that. You are a fucking idiot, sir. How about that? Stupid ass.
Deputies say all 7 children.
You love her more than your kids. You, sir, are stupid. Let me let y'all hear it again. So y'all didn't mishear it.
And it's not our right to take hers. You know, everybody needs help.
Instead of condemnation, Ricky Brister has focused on forgiveness and compassion for his wife. He was not at home Friday night.
This moment can be a teaching moment and a loving moment for everybody. I still love her. That's not going to change.
It should change. And let me tell y'all this, for those who feel like maybe God might not like you as much or might judge you more harshly because you decide to put your foot down against people who hurt, harm, murder, and abuse the most innocent and most defenseless people on our planet, our babies. Let me tell you this, I don't think he will. If you believe in the higher power, if you believe in the man above, I don't believe that. I believe that he will actually applaud you for taking a harsh stance against people who would disrespect the blessings of our world and of our existence. Some people need to step up and be an advocate for our children, especially if you're going to be spitting that Bible crap. If you truly, truly studied the word, then you would understand that your children should be your number one priority because they depend on biological mother and biological father. That is where your advocacy should start. At home, in your household, under your roof. And if you put your wife before your kids, sir, then I just think that you're a horrible person. Let's keep going.
Of 3 children killed, according to Paulding County deputies at the
home when the fire started, then setting their house on Woodwind Drive on fire.
Of 3 children killed, according to.
Try to get this next video up.
A deadly fire in Paulding County leaves 3 children dead. Good evening and thanks for joining us on Fox 5 News at 10. I'm Alex Whitler. Tonight, a woman is behind bars facing charges for the incident authorities call a domestic disturbance and house fire. Fox 5's Joy Dukes has more on what community members call a senseless tragedy.
A small memorial is growing just down the driveway from this home. We're told several children jumped out of the second-story window to escape. And several neighbors told us that they are heartbroken and in shock that something like this could happen so close to home.
I just don't know who would do that to their kids.
While the investigation into a fire at this home on Woodwind Drive is ongoing, Paulding County residents are trying to process the tragic loss of 3 children who were inside at the time and died, allegedly, at the hands of the person who was supposed to protect them.
You just don't think things like that are going to happen.
Paulding County authorities say they received a call about the fire and a domestic disturbance at the home just after 9 o'clock Friday. They were told at the same time flames were growing inside the home. 40-year-old Darlene Brister was trying to stab the children.
I can't even imagine. I've got 8 kids, and I mean, kids get on your nerves and stuff like that, but you just don't do stuff. I mean, it's just the unimaginable situation.
Residents David and Robin Zerby recalled the chaotic scene just down the street from their home.
We thought they were searching for someone. We wish it was just searching for someone and not the news we found out this morning.
Another neighbor told Fox 5 they witnessed other residents trying to help some of the kids out of the home, while others jumped out of a second-story window.
I'm just glad they got out. For that woman to do that is just unbelievably selfish.
Yeah.
I mean, all she had to do is take the kids to a hospital, drop them off.
That's inaccurate, sir. You can't just go take 7 kids and just go drop them off. That ain't the way it works. But I do understand what he's saying, though. He's basically saying killing them is not the answer. And I do agree with that part. So let's not get lost in that.
Fire crews got the flames under control and found the remaining children inside. 2 of them were dead at the scene, while medics rushed 3 others to the hospital to be treated for their injuries. But one of those children later died.
There's nothing about that made sense anywhere, anyhow.
No.
On Saturday, residents with heavy hearts stopped by the home that is now a crime scene, leaving flowers and toys by the mailbox.
What do you think that says about this community?
That they care. You know.
Neighbors say they have started a GoFundMe account to help with funeral costs, and their focus now is showing support for the family that lost everything.
We're going to talk about that GoFundMe here in just a moment. For those who might want to get on to me and say that maybe what I said was a little bit inflammatory about the father and the family, we'll get to that GoFundMe here in just a moment.
And then this Paulding County mother charged with murdering 3 of her own children. Another story that's got a lot of folks just really heartbroken here. Investigators say Darlene Brister tried to stab her children, then set her house on fire. Just minutes ago, she faced a judge for the first time. The judge denied bond. Now we're hearing from Brister's husband. As Fox 5's Caitlin Pratt reports, he says his wife was suffering from depression.
What's going through my head is it's so much, it's just so much.
How do you process the unthinkable? Ricky Brister set to bury his 3 youngest children as his wife sits in jail, accused in their killings.
She was hurt. She lost it.
Paulding County investigators received a call about a fire at Brister's home on Wynwood Drive late Friday. When crews arrived, they found a 9-month-old and 3-year-old dead. Medics rushed their 5, 9, and 11-year-olds to the hospital. The 5-year-old didn't survive. The 2 eldest, 14 and 16, were not hurt. Their mother, Darlene Brister, say police was trying to stab all 7 kids as the flames spread. Brister says his wife was battling depression. He's focusing on moving past the horror and on the health of his 4 surviving children while trying to help find them a new home.
I'm a Christian man and I do have Christian values. My message is a message of compassion for everybody. There's nothing else that's going to help us get past this.
Caitlin.
And that's why I disagree with him. Let me give you guys an example. Let me give you a harsh example. Because we've had a number of these stories, and y'all are listening in the chat right now. Y'all tell me if I'm wrong. I'm going to look into the camera, and y'all just be honest with me and tell me if I'm wrong for saying this. Even though we understand the teaching from the church and from Christianity or whatever it is that y'all hear it from tries to make us believe, because that's basically what religion is. It's a belief system that all sins are judged the same. All sins are equal in the eyes of God, right? But I believe, personally, coming from a Christian basis and being religious, I believe that there are some sins that are worse than others. I believe there are some judgments that should be harsher than others. Because when we talk about being Christians, that is the epitome of being Christ-like. And I believe that God lives in us. And we are the living word of the body of Christ. The word is in us. Right? So if that's the case, when it comes to judgment, we are to have righteous judgment. The Bible does not say you should not judge. The Bible asks for us and calls for us to have righteous judgment. So the standard that you set is the standard that you will be judged by. That is righteous judgment. Okay? It doesn't say don't judge. Because if we're going to meet our maker at the end of this life and we will be judged, then why will we not act in accordance to what our creator does, which is judging? We should all make judgment calls. The problem is most of us aren't judging anything. We're given discernment for a reason, to judge, to make proper judgment for who? For our children, so that they can do what? Grow up and become something great, right or wrong. They depend on us. We are to treat our wife and our children the way that God treated the church. And we as men and heads of the household are to follow God. Therefore, everything will come full circle and take care of itself. We take care of the kids. We take care of the wife. The wife take care of us. Wife take care of the kids. We follow God, and God will bless that family. That's the way it works. That's the circle. But most of us ain't bringing kids into the world that way. But we'll talk about that on the story where that actually pertains and qualifies. With this, when we talk about judgment, here's why I believe that there are some sins that are worse than others. You could have a sin of stealing. You could have a sin of lying. You could have a sin of infidelity. You could have a sin of murder. You can look at those and say, yes, God will judge all of those the same way as sin. Breaking the law of the land that you live in, because the Bible also calls us to live in the law of the land, right? But here's where those waters get different for me. You can look at those four things and say that they'll be judged the same. And my heart and my soul and every bit of my belief, in every bit of my belief and being, I believe that if an adult takes advantage of a child in a sexual manner, we know what that word is. I can't say it on YouTube. But if an adult takes advantage of a child that cannot speak for themselves nor defend themselves and takes advantage of them in a sexual way, you mean to tell me that that's going to be the exact same type of judgment? Or is that the lowest of the low? And I think, in my opinion, it's the lowest of the low. It don't get no lower than taking advantage of our babies, hurting and murdering, abusing people who can't do a damn thing about it. And how many stories on my channel do I have of people sexually assaulting babies, drowning babies, throwing them off of roofs, beating them to death, slamming them in the walls, stomping them, kicking them, beating them, choking them, burning them? If there were ever an ultimate sin, I would think it would be when you violate our children. To me, that's the ultimate sin. I think there is a sin that is greater than others, and to me, it comes to our children. People might not see it the same way. You might look it up in scripture and feel a different way about it, but that's the way I feel. I've had a lot of years in this game when it comes to religion. That's what I choose to believe. We all make our choices and choose to believe what we want to believe. If you ask me, they're probably going to try to give her an insanity plea, or she was suffering from mental illness and all of this type of stuff. But if you ask me, I think the only way that you handle a situation like this is to make sure that people understand that there will be consequences when you mess with our children in the United States of America. You do that, you kill kids, burn kids, stab kids, put them to death and execute them the way that she did, life in prison. You can take it a step further. Does she deserve the ultimate penalty under law? Probably yes. She made a conscious choice. She wanted to end their life and did it in the nastiest, most heinous way possible. And those children absolutely suffered. There's a special place in hell for people who do stuff like that to our kids. So if we're gonna be religious about this, then we can pray that she will meet the proper fate here on earth, and that whenever she meets her maker down there in hell, that she will get what's coming to her. To the husband, I don't really know what to say about that. I think, like I said, I think he's got his mind a little bit twisted behind that woman. I think he loves that woman more than he loves his kids. And I don't mean no disrespect by that, but that's just the way it sounds to me. So here's the GoFundMe that was set up by what looks like a family member, Vicky Brister. I'm not exactly sure what is her role in the family, but she set up this GoFundMe. So if you guys want to look this up, it says during a house fire, 3 of the boys were burned and lost their life. They're hoeing to visit God. Oh my goodness. I want y'all to look at this and tell me what this word is. I don't really know exactly what she was trying to say. Right there. They are hoeing one to visit God. They put up a $50,000 GoFundMe. Fine. $50,000 GoFundMe. Fine. The least you could do, invest $100 and pay somebody to write out a proper statement. I think you should have $50,000 worth of words in this GoFundMe statement, if you ask me. Man, I know kindergartners that probably could write better sentences than that. These are grown-ass people, man. Come on. One sentence, you wrote one sentence, and you're expecting for people to give you $50,000, man. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion. I think that's just ridiculous. We just don't invest in nothing at all, man. But again, rest in peace to those souls that were lost. Pray for those babies that survived and hope that they can grow up and become something great for that baby that is in critical condition. Pray that he pulls through. Pray that he pulls through, man. But give her the ultimate penalty under law. I wouldn't feel bad. But leave a comment in the comment section. I know I said a lot of things that might make y'all think a lot of different stuff. But post it in the comment section. Let's have a conversation about it, okay? Hit that thumbs up. Let me know what you think, okay? Thank you.